Black Bloom, the sci-fi horror short story. Arrival of the first flower. The terraforming station on Eden 6 had never felt so alive. For 3 years, the crew had worked under the green-gold haze of the moon's atmosphere, coaxing a dead jungle world into something habitable. They had endured storms that peeled plating from the station's hull, fungal plagues that ate through polymer seals, and a gravity well that made every movement feel like wading through syrup. But today, for the first time, they saw proof that their work mattered. A flower. It grew at the edge of the southern perimeter fence, where the nutrient-rich mist sprayers had been running for weeks. It was small, no taller than a hand, but unmistakably a bloom. 5 petals, glossy and curved like an orchid's, but black as obsidian. Its center pulsed faintly, as if lit from within. Dr. Tina Smith knelt beside it, her visor inches from the petals. "It's beautiful," she whispered. Behind her, Chief Engineer Rourke grunted. "Beautiful, sure, but it's not one of ours." Tina ignored him. She reached out with a gloved hand, brushing the air above the bloom. Her sensors registered no toxins, no spores, no radiation. Just a faint electromagnetic hum, like static before a storm. "It's a sign," she said. "The ecosystem is responding. We seeded the soil with Earth-compatible microbes. This could be a mutation, an emergent hybrid. It grew overnight," Rourke cut in. "And it's black. Plants aren't black. Some are. Not like this." Tina stood, brushing dust from her knees. "We'll take samples. Run tests. But this is good news." Rourke muttered something about good news never looking like a funeral flower, but he followed her back toward the station. Neither of them noticed the second bloom unfurling behind them, its petals opening like a slow, silent yawn. The celebration. By evening, there were 12 flowers. They ringed the southern perimeter like sentinels, each identical, each perfectly spaced. The crew gathered around the observation windows, murmuring with excitement. Even Commander Hale, who rarely smiled, allowed himself a small nod of approval. "We'll run a full analysis," he said. "But for now, well done, everyone. This is the first real sign that Eden 6 is waking up." The mess hall filled with laughter and clinking glasses. Someone played music. Someone else projected a hologram of Earth's forests, overlaying them with the black blooms for comparison. The blooms looked alien, yes, but also elegant, purposeful. Tina watched her team relax for the first time in months. She felt a warmth in her chest, pride, relief, hope. Then the alarms went off. A red light pulsed above the door. The music cut out. Hale's voice crackled over the intercom. "Security breach. All personnel to stations." "Repeat. Security breach." Tina's stomach dropped. She sprinted to the nearest console and pulled up the perimeter feed. Her breath caught. The flowers were gone. Every one of them. In their place, the soil was smooth and undisturbed, as if nothing had ever grown there. The impossible bloom. The search lasted hours. Drones swept the perimeter. Sensors scanned for heat signatures, chemical traces, electromagnetic anomalies. Nothing. The flowers had vanished without a trace. At 2:17, Tina returned to her lab to review the earlier footage. She keyed in her access code, stepped inside, and froze. A black bloom sat on her desk. Its petals glistened under the sterile white lights. Its center pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. The room was sealed. No one had entered. No vents were large enough to pass even a small animal. The bloom simply was. Tina approached slowly. Her breath fogged her visor. She reached out. The bloom shivered. Not from wind. Not from movement in the room. It shivered in response to her. She stumbled back, heart pounding. "Station control, this is Dr. Smith," she said, voice shaking. "I need a containment team in Lab 3. Now." But even as she spoke, she felt something else. A warmth blooming behind her eyes, a soft whisper in her mind. "Hello," she gasped, clutching her head. The whisper wasn't words, not exactly. More like an emotion shaped into meaning. Curiosity. recognition, hunger. She backed away from the flower, but the whisper followed. You made the soil ready. You made the air soft. You made the world warm again. Her knees buckled. She hit the floor. We remember you. Then the door burst open and the containment team rushed in. The whisper vanished. The bloom sat motionless on the desk, innocent as a child's drawing. Symptoms. By morning, 3 crew members reported strange dreams. By afternoon, 7 more. By evening, half the station. The dreams were vivid, almost painfully so. Jungles of black flowers stretching to the horizon, vines pulsing with light, roots burrowing deep into the moon's crust. Some dreamed of voices calling to them. Others dreamed of merging with the soil, dissolving into a warm, humming network of life. Tina tried to catalog the symptoms, but she was struggling herself. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the bloom on her desk. She felt its presence like a warm hand on her shoulder. Rourke confronted her in the lab. You're pale, he said. You sleeping at all? Not much. You talked to Hale yet? About what? He hesitated. About the pollen. Tina stiffened. There is no pollen. We scanned it. Then explain this. He held up a vial. Inside, a fine black dust swirled like smoke. This was on the air filters, he said. Every filter. Even the sealed ones. That's impossible. Yeah, Rourke said. That's what worries me. The first merge. The first disappearance happened on day 3. Technician Lien Cho failed to report for her shift. Her quarters were locked from the inside. When security forced the door, they found her uniform neatly folded on the bed. And on the floor beside it, a black bloom. Commander Hale ordered a full lockdown. All personnel were confined to quarters except essential staff. Air circulation was rerouted through emergency filters. Every bloom found inside the station was incinerated. But the dreams continued. And the pollen, if that's what it was, kept appearing. Tina's symptoms worsened. She felt emotions that weren't hers. Joy, sorrow, longing. She sensed presences moving beneath the soil, vast and ancient. She heard whispers in the walls. Rourke found her staring at a bloom in the incineration chamber, tears streaming down her face. Tina, he said gently, step away. It's alive, she whispered. It's trying to talk to us. It's trying to use us. She shook her head. You don't understand. It's not hostile. It's lonely. Rourke grabbed her shoulders. Listen to me. This thing is messing with your head. You need to fight it. But she wasn't sure she wanted to. Beneath the crust. On day 5, the ground began to shake. Sensors detected movement deep beneath the moon's crust. Rhythmic pulses, like a heartbeat the size of a mountain. Seismic waves rippled outward, soft but unmistakable. Hale convened an emergency meeting. This is no longer a biological anomaly, he said. There is something alive under the surface. Something large. Rourke slammed his fist on the table. We need to evacuate. We can't, Tina said quietly. Everyone turned to her. The shuttle's offline, she continued. The engines are clogged with black residue, and the comms array is down. Sabotage? Hale asked. No, Tina said. Growth. Rourke swore under his breath. Hale rubbed his temples. What does it want? Tina hesitated. To wake up. The network. The dreams became waking visions. Tina saw through the soil. She saw tendrils of black roots spreading like veins, connecting every bloom. She saw chambers deep underground, filled with dormant structures. Not plants, not animals, something in between. Something designed. She realized the truth with a cold, sinking certainty. The blooms were not native. They were probes. Biological sensors sent up from the buried organism or intelligence beneath the crust. They were testing the environment, testing the humans, learning from them, and using them. The empathy, the dreams, the compulsion to merge. It was all part of the process. The alien intelligence was terraforming itself, using human minds as catalysts. Tina tried to warn Hale, but the words tangled in her throat. The whisper in her mind grew stronger. We are waking. You made this possible. You are part of us now. She collapsed. The blooming. When Tina awoke, she was in the medbay. Rourke sat beside her, dark circles under his eyes. You were out for 12 hours, he said. Hale wanted to quarantine you, but I convinced him otherwise. Why? Because you're the only one who seems to understand what's happening. Tina sat up slowly. Her head throbbed. It's not an invasion, she said. It's a resurrection. Rourke frowned. Explain. She took a shaky breath. The organism beneath the crust, it's ancient. It terraformed this moon long before we arrived. Maybe before humans existed. But something happened. A cataclysm. It went dormant. The surface died. And now it's waking up. Yes, but it needs help. It needs minds. Ours. Rourke stood abruptly. No, I'm not buying that. This thing is hijacking people. Lien didn't merge. She died. Tina shook her head. She transformed. That's not better. The lights flickered. A low hum vibrated through the floor. Rourke grabbed Tina's arm. We're going to Hale. Now. But when they reached the command deck, it was empty. A trail of black petals led to the airlock. The descent. The airlock was open. Beyond it, the jungle shimmered with black blooms. Thousands of them. Tens of thousands. A carpet of living darkness stretching to the horizon. And in the distance, the ground bulged upward, as if something massive was pushing from below. Rourke stared in horror. We're too late. Tina stepped forward, entranced. No, it's beautiful. Rourke grabbed her wrist. Don't. She turned to him, eyes shining. You don't feel it? The connection? The unity? I feel terrified. You don't have to be. It's offering us a place. A purpose. Tina, listen to yourself. But she wasn't listening. She stepped into the jungle. The blooms parted around her like welcoming hands. Rourke cursed and followed. The ground trembled beneath their feet. The bulge in the distance split open, revealing a cavernous maw of roots and light. A warm, pulsing glow emanated from within. Tina walked toward it. Rourke ran after her, shouting her name, but the blooms wrapped around his legs, pulling him down. He struggled, but the vines tightened, gentle but unyielding. Tina reached the edge of the glowing chasm. She turned back to him, smiling softly. It's not the end, she said. It's the beginning. Then she stepped inside. Awakening. Rourke screamed until his voice broke. The blooms held him, but they did not harm him. They simply waited. The ground shook violently. The glow intensified. A deep, resonant hum filled the air. Not sound, but thought. A consciousness vast and ancient, stretching across the moon like a neural network. Rourke felt it brush against his mind. We are awake. The chasm erupted in a pillar of black light. Blooms burst from the soil in waves, racing outward. The jungle transformed before his eyes. Trees twisting into new shapes, vines glowing with bioluminescent veins, the air thick with shimmering pollen. The moon was being reborn. And at the center of it all he felt Tina. Not dead, not gone, but changed. Her mind intertwined with the alien intelligence, part of its vast, humming network. Join us, she whispered. Rourke closed his eyes. For a moment he felt peace. Then he tore free of the vines and ran. The last human. He fled through the jungle, lungs burning, vision blurring. The blooms whispered to him, soft and coaxing. The ground pulsed beneath his feet. The air shimmered with pollen. He stumbled into the clearing where the station once stood. It was gone. In its place rose a towering structure of black vines and crystalline petals. A living spire, humming with energy. The first node of a new ecosystem. Rourke fell to his knees. He was alone. The last unmerged human on Eden 6. The blooms rustled around him, patient and gentle. You helped us wake, they whispered. You can rest now. He shook his head weakly. No, I won't. You will. He felt the pollen settling on his skin, warm and soft. He felt his thoughts slowing, blending, dissolving. He looked up at the sky. The stars blurred. The world pulsed. And then... Epilogue, the New Eden. Years later, a survey ship entered orbit around Eden 6. They detected lush vegetation, stable atmosphere, abundant life, a miracle transformation, but no human signals. The crew descended cautiously. They found forests of black flowers, glowing softly in the twilight. They found structures grown from living vines, humming with energy. They found no bodies, no bones, no signs of struggle, only peace. And as they explored, the blooms opened around them, welcoming, curious, hungry. One of the surveyors knelt beside a flower, mesmerized. "It's beautiful," she whispered. The bloom shivered. "Hello," it whispered back. And deep beneath the crust, the ancient intelligence stirred, sensing new minds, new soil, new seeds. The cycle began again.